that is for the listeners to find out soon.
Welcome to It Comes in Pints, a Seattle Study Club podcast where we will explore a myriad of topics: clinical, health and well-being, psychological, education, business, and much more. I'm your host, Greg Tice.
Robb Zbierski, I'm a professional speaker, personal coach, and best-selling author with Freedom Personal Development.
Want to welcome everyone to the next episode of It Comes in Pints, a Seattle Study Club podcast with me, your host, Greg Tice. Joining us today, a person who I count not only as a colleague, but a personal friend, Robb Zbierski. Robb, this is really designed, it's called It Comes in Pints because I want it to be a conversation like we were sitting in a pub. Yeah. So this will be really relaxed, but if you're in a pub, you have to have a drink.
Yes.
So what did you bring with you to drink today?
Well, you know, I had a little insider information. This might be the theme. So I came prepared with my little playmate.
Got a whole cooler.
So I don't know what time it is when you're listening, but I know what time it is when I'm talking. And we got a multitude of Midwestern malted barley and hops we could tap into today.
Brilliant.
I'm feeling like we could go with the New Glarus. I think that's the Totally Naked. Yeah, it is. That's the Totally Naked. That's a good one. We enjoy that. One's a fun one. Being in Chicago, I love me some Fist City. And the only thing I'm missing is the Malort. I got the second half of the Chicago handshake right there, the old style.
There it is. Look it out.
So, yeah, that's how we do it up here. I'm gonna go with the Fist City just because it's cool, it's clean, it's crisp, and it's time.
Brilliant. Well, I am it's a little earlier where I am, so I am going with coffee, but the coffee's got a little touch Irish whiskey in it. So
we are friends.
That's how we do it. That's how we roll here. So cheers, my friend. Cheers
to you.
All right.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. I love it.
Brilliant. So we've known each other a long time. I would classify you as an expert in, I don't like the word mindset because it's so overused, but as an expert in sort of cognitively the way our brains function, the way our brains work, and how to actually use them the way they were designed to be used. Would you say that's an accurate description or inaccurate?
No, that's super accurate. Yeah, I'll piggyback because I can. Most people, right, wrong, or indifferent, like we all go through life, and most people, I think people in our profession and people who are operating at the level that we tend to operate at, we tend to have a little higher level of self-awareness, right? That's a compliment for all of our listeners and watchers. And then ultimately, though, our brains are just hardwired in a way that doesn't naturally allow us to do that. And so where I tend to do a decent job is helping people take that more active role in understanding how their brain is hardwired to operate and ensure that more often than not, they're using their brain the way it's designed to be used and in a way that supports them instead of holds them back.
So tell me a little about your journey, because when you and I first met, you were the memory guy. That was that was where you hung your hat.
It works.
And you've obviously grown tremendously and are presenting on all sorts of different topics now. But what did that journey look like from being the memory guy to really, again, it's an overused term, but the mindset guy? Like, how do I use my brain to actually function well?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. And I'm sitting here I'm trying to map it out in my head over the last 10 or 15 years. And it's like that, I'm not going to toot my own horn and be like, it's like that infographic of what people think success looks like versus what it looks like. It's not like that. But,
yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, I was doing, when I first started when I first got in the speaking circuit with you guys, especially, and I have been doing it for a while, it was primarily memory training. And it was using your memory the way it's designed to be used, and helping people understand that your memory can be trained for the purpose of recalling whatever information you want to, whenever you want to. And so while I was doing that, people kept asking, my business partner, Roger Sipe, had written a book called Train Your Brain for Success. And it I don't know, like, it kind of took off. Like it struck a chord with people. It was all about understanding how to take a more active role in managing your mind. And people were really into it, and they kept asking for, hey, do you have some training around it? Can you sell some books? Yes, right? Can we sell something? Absolutely. And it kind of morphed to more people going, the memory training is cool, but I want to learn more about this. It's not brain science, but it's a little bit of brain science. Help me understand why do I keep finding myself stuck? Why do I make these same self-sabotaging decisions unconsciously over and over and over again? And like, can you help? Yeah, sure. So then we kind of like, as we started making those presentations, as the volume of our requests was more along those lines, people kept asking, well, dude, when's your book coming out? I'm like, what book? I don't have a book. And so eventually I wrote a book. Well, Roger and I co-authored it. It was called Master Your Mind. It's fantastic. And look at that. Where did that come from?
It's right on my desk. So
I love it. So anyway, as we just spent more time with that, and actually that book came about because a lot of the questions we were getting from clients, they just weren't getting addressed in the first book. And so we wrote the second book as kind of like a follow-up supplement to the first one. And then our people are going, okay, you guys seem to know what you're talking about. I feel like I need a little more help than just a book. Do you offer coaching? And so that really launched the coaching career. And then we had this amazing global phenomenon that basically took our speaking career and shut it down.
Yeah.
And so for reasons beyond my control, but well within my ability to overcome, the speaking and coaching kind of shifted. And as I spent more time with professionals in a multitude of industries, like I do a lot of work in dental, do a lot of work in financial services, but just as we worked with a lot of people, we picked up on some commonalities even more. Our understanding of an observation of how people operate and how their minds operate and thought processes got deeper. And that really kind of led to where we're at today, which is me spending a lot of time helping people just understand how their brain operates and understand that they can take a more active role in managing those thoughts in a way that helps them get where they want to go faster and with a lot more enthusiasm and joy and profitability.
So let's go back to something you mentioned earlier. One of the questions you were getting was, why do I feel stuck? And how does that relate to how my brain operates? Why am I self-sabotaging so often? And it was commonalities that you were being asked about. What's the answer there? Are there commonalities, and what's going on?
Yeah, so there are commonalities, and then there's conversations we have to help people overcome that. The commonalities are this, and for anybody who's had the opportunity to see or hear me speak or Roger speak or read our book, that that we have what we call everyone has what we call your brain's unhelpful default settings, meaning your brain is hardwired
Autopilot.
to focus on an anchor. What's that?
Autopilot.
Yeah. It is. This is if left alone to run the show, this is how your brain is going to run the show. And unfortunately, it's going to run the show focusing on some version of negativity, urgency, and complacency. Like your brain and all that, it's survival mechanisms, right? It's looking out for grizzly bears. It's making sure that you can address the grizzly bear that's closest to you. And then it's setting up home base in a place that doesn't mean you have to go across paths and swaths of grizzly bears to get your food, right? It's negativity, urgency, complacency. Your brain is always looking for some version of that. And in the conversations I have with people, anytime people have been frustrated, exhausted, spun out, pissed off, overwhelmed, insert yucky feeling here, it usually can get distilled down in some way to some version of negativity, urgency, complacency. So that's where, and just knowing that, just having the awareness to go, hey, my brain is looking for this and I should maybe look somewhere else. That's life-changing for some people we talk to. It's fascinating. They're like, it's really that simple. Oftentimes, yes, it is that simple.
Yeah.
Kind of like the 2.0 version or 201, I guess, 201 of that idea is understanding tasks and goals and dreams and outlook and focus and aperture in life, I'll call it, right? negativity, urgency, and complacency are usually tied to some, I call it small circle, tasky approach or focus in life. And you put these two together and people get like miserable really quick. It's like, so you're focused on negativity and super inconsequential tasky stuff. And you're frustrated. Am I hearing that right? And we see it all the time. And so people are like, well, what do I do? And I ask people, just like level up your thinking. Think about bigger, sexier, more important, more exciting things. And let your brain, let your big, powerful, results producing brain focus on those things that you really want, and allow your subconscious mind to put you in situations that you get pulled through those challenges without having to overwork it or think about getting through it.
Let me challenge you here for a second, because I think what you're talking about is a couple of things. One is now in the literature, they're calling it status quo bias, right? Our desire to maintain status quo, equilibrium. The other is the fact that we operate from habituation, right, on autopilot so often during the day. And what you're saying is, the solution to that, which I don't disagree with, is to think bigger, is to have those BHAGs, however you want to put it, the big picture thing you're shooting for, or things. But when you think about the fact that our brains are wired to focus on the smaller things, how do you consistently maintain that image of the bigger things?
Yeah. So oh man, it doesn't get a whole lot cheesier than this answer. You ready for it?
You didn't know I was going to push back on you like this, but here we go.
First of all, you said at the beginning, we've known each other and been friends for a long time. Yes, I did. It doesn't matter what I'm going to say. You're like, Rob, let me. Yeah. You're like, anyway. The answer is in your question. Oh God, it's so cheesy. I'm so sorry. But you said the word image. How do you keep that image top of mind? And that's it. One of the things that we teach folks is like, you've got these two different parts of your mind. You've got your conscious mind. You got your rational, linear thinking, common sense, if-then engineer brain. And then you've got your subconscious, which is like your spring break. It's like your party brain. And they both work. They work independent of each other, but they also work they work with each other. And what we help people understand is your subconscious mind is that big, powerful, results producing part of your mind. And the thing about your subconscious, it operates totally different from your conscious. It operates different from your 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Who am I climbing inside of next? That's a joke from one of our friends. But anyway, who's next in the chair? What are we working on? Your subconscious mind, it thinks in pictures, and it will make you act in accordance with those pictures, even if they don't exist. So what we tell people and what we teach people and what we train people is, if the only thing you do is you gain even a percentage of clarity, better clarity around what you want most and why it's most important to you. And when you can create a clear picture for that, and you can remind that subconscious, you can feed that image into your subconscious mind, it will go to work chasing down and making you take action as if that image were already the case. And you've seen this because I know where your question's going, and this is why I love you. You've seen this with people who create dream boards. Like anybody that's created a dream board, that is a perfect example of understanding what it means to put an image in front of your mind for a higher likelihood of it showing up. This is why people have the cutouts of their dream cars on their desks. Yep. This is why they have the dream home, stuff like that. But that constant, consistent reminder for what you want, that image of what you want and why it's important to you, and just creating a heightened awareness of that is what your brain needs to go, oh, you want that? Cool. I'm going to put you in a situation where you have no choice but to make that happen. And it's awesome to watch.
It's interesting because, and I think people intuitively understand this, or were maybe told it in third grade. I don't know. But what's fascinating to me is your subconscious can't tell the difference between what you're imagining and what's really happening. It thinks they're both real. It thinks they're both real. So the more often you can visualize, and I know that's an overused term as well, whatever that end result is, your subconscious is going, maybe that's the direction I should be heading. I wonder how to get there. And it'll start to problem solve around that.
Yeah. And the thing is, it doesn't actually wonder how to get there. It knows how to get there. Like your subconscious mind is so powerful. It's okay. Do you drive a GPS?
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever done the thing where you start plugging in the address of where you're trying to go and it autofills for you?
Yeah. That's home.
But like your subconscious mind is kind of like that GPS. It already knows where you're going. It knows how to get you there. It just needs to know why you want to go.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it'll try this way and be like, you know what? That is under construction and we are going to take a detour. And it'll put you on a different path. It knows where you want to go. It just needs reminders where you want to go. It'll figure out how to get you there.
All right. So let's come back to the busyness piece.
Yes.
Right? Because again, to me, that's still, it's a personal challenge for me. And I think it's a challenge for a lot of people. We're caught up in that day to day, the tasky, got to get this done, answer that email, reply to this text, do this, do that. How do you power through those longer, because it feels good, right? Crossing something off the list or checking the box, there's a dopamine hit there. There's that feels good, but it doesn't really move me forward to where I really want to go. How do you help people get past that?
Yep. So just having, again, awareness is how self-awareness is half the battle there, right? And you nailed it. Like we love the dopamine hit. We love the instant gratification of crossing stuff off the list. This gets talked about all the time and joked about all the time. Like I know there's people listening right now that they have a to-do list and they'll do something that's not on the list and then they'll write it on the list just so they can cross it off the list. Like it's because they're like, I love it. Right?
I have been there.
Yeah, what? But the thing to understand is so your brain doesn't understand the difference between activity and productivity. That's a big thing. Yeah, I know.
Say it again.
Yeah. Your brain, it doesn't understand the difference between activity and productivity. And it loves the dopamine hit. So this is why people end up spending all their days on the hamster wheel or like doing all this inconsequential stuff. And the byproduct of that is they're exhausted at the end of their day, right? They feel like they've been go. But then they actually take a second at the end of the day and they're like, oh my God, I got nothing done today. Because their brain just goes on, again, the autopilot of tasky. And then like the goals at the end of the day are like, mama, where's the love? You did nothing to support me. So to answer your question, how do you overcome that? Well, number one, it goes back to that think bigger. And like, there's this thing I'll draw it for clients. And sometimes when I'm doing a presentation, I call it the circles talk or aperture. And so if you can imagine looking at like, for the people listening, imagine like a dot on the left-hand side of your page and a dot on the right-hand side of your page. And the dot on the left says point A and the dot on the right says point B. And we're all functional human beings. So we understand in trying to get from point A to point B, the fastest way is a straight line. So if you can draw that straight line from point A to point B, that represents like our journey, where we are, where we want to go. But the thing is, it's not just A to B. On the path towards anything worthwhile, there's tasks that need to be accomplished on a daily basis. There's goals that need to be achieved till we ultimately get to our dream, right? Whether that's retirement or impact or whatever that big thing is, right? And so if you can imagine like that point A, it's kind of like your eye span. It's what you're focused on. And the challenge I see most people have is, getting back to that go all day, every day, that tasky churn. What happens is people are only focused on tasks. And let me back up and say this for the people who work really hard but always find themselves coming up short of their goals.
Okay.
Right? I know there's people I work with all the time that they're like, dude, I work hard and I do really good work all day, every day, but I just keep finding myself kind of just that much short of my goals. The reason that happens is you're focused so heavily on the tasks that like if it's a cone or funnel, like this, your eye span, the tasks fill up that whole eye span. And you can't see the goals that are beyond that. And so it's not like you end up getting a lot of stuff done. It's on inconsequential stuff, but you end up coming up short on your goals, not because you didn't work towards it, because you just weren't focused on them. Right. And they weren't big enough or strong enough to overcome and pull you through the churn of the daily task. And so goes back to our comment about think bigger. What I tell people is take those goals and blow them up. You blow those goals up and then you shift that focus to that bigger eye span. What happens is that circle of tasks doesn't change, right? It's still the same amount of work. The difference is you're not focused on it. It's no longer in the way, it's on the way. So the stuff that used to feel like it was in the way and burdensome and super challenging, and I just can't figure out how to do it. What we said earlier, when your subconscious mind has a picture for what it wants and why it's important, it'll figure out a way to get there.
Yeah.
So those difficult conversations that you just can't figure out how to have, that treatment plan that you just can't figure out how to get them to say yes to, your brain will put you in a situation, when you're goal oriented, it'll pull you right through that. And those things that used to be in your way, like I said, they're just on the way. They're kind of like speed bumps instead of barricades.
I like
and so
that. In the way, not on the way.
Yeah.
On the way, not in the way. Sorry, backwards.
Yeah, let's say it the right way. But yes, I'm glad you like it. but ultimately, like that fundamentally, and it's super simplistic. Like almost, it's not insultingly simplistic, but it really is like just notice when you're exhausted, notice when you're frustrated, notice when you're experiencing the yuck, and just ask yourself, like, what level of stuff am I focused on right now? And I don't make guarantees, but I'm pretty confident whatever you're focused on, in the grand scheme of things, it's totally just a small circle thing.
Yeah. So no, I don't want to ask it that way. I'm going to ask it this way. Do you listen at all to Adam Grant or Brene Brown or any of those folks?
I not as regularly as I would benefit from, but I am familiar with the names you're using.
Yeah, so I'll send it to you. We'll put it in the show notes as well. But there was a great interview between the two of them talking about dopamine. And it was a realization that I had listening to this. They said dopamine isn't the happiness drug that we all think it is. It's actually the need drug. It creates need, it creates hunger, it creates drive. That's why we're goal-oriented as human beings. The dopamine's actually creating the need for us to move in that direction.
That makes sense.
Which you're going to love. So I'll send that to you.
Thank you.
And we'll put it in the show notes. But so given all of this, right? So we've got, yes, and whether it's on the way, not in the way. It's, right, Stephen Covey, big rocks, then little rocks, then sand, then water, blah, blah, blah. What are some strategies or tactics to help us do that, to maintain that focus? Because, again, the daily grind really can narrow that vision without you realizing that's happening.
Yep. So we talk about this, the number one thing you need to get your brain working for you instead of against you is a heightened awareness of what's most important. And so a technique, a tactic, a T word that we use is immersion. And so this is it doesn't get a whole lot more tactical than this. We say immerse whatever it is that's most important to you anywhere and everywhere you can in your life. Like, create some visual reminder, create some image that even represents, right? Let's go back to the memory training. All we're looking for is a trigger. We're just looking for something to trigger your mind to go, oh, that's right, that's important. I got to remember that, right? So find an image of whatever it is that is important to you, whether that's the goal, whether that's the dream, whether that's the vacation. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I care. Create an immersion tactic around put that thing anywhere and everywhere you can, right? Like for me, so on my desk in front of me, I have this little knit donut, right? And this works for goals. This works for mantra. This is one of my mantras. It's time to make the donuts. I think we probably talked about this over the years, right? Fred from the Dunkin', when it was called Dunkin' Donuts, right? Fred had the great mustache, and like what did Fred always do?
I don't know. What did Fred always do?
Fred always made the donuts. Remember, it's time to make the donuts,
yeah.
Right? It's 4 a.m., it's raining, it's time to make the donuts. So like my mantra, it's time to make the donuts. And so I have an old client of mine, Aubrey, she's wonderful. She's into knitting. She's like, hey, I made you this donut. And so this thing sits on my desk because there's days when I don't want to make the donuts, Greg.
Amen.
It's it's October and it's still 75 degrees out and the mountain bike trails are hero dirt.
Yeah.
Daddy don't want to make the donuts on those days, but you know what? I got to remind myself it's time to make the donuts. You know, I don't want to, there's stuff I don't want to do, and it's tasky, it's little tasky stuff, but I need that reminder to pull me through, right? We've seen this with, I've seen this with production goals. Like a client of mine had a 25%, a goal of 25% increase in case acceptance was actually what it was, which I think is a pretty ridiculous number. And I'm like, are you sure about that? He's like, no, we can do it. I'm like, all right. He's like, well, what do I do? I'm like, go blow up a picture of a quarter and put it in every single room in your practice. Like every single chair, have the quarter, and like maybe tell the girls, maybe don't tell the girls. And so he's like, I got about $9 in quarters printed off and posted all over my practice. And he's like, and he's a busy guy and he'd been doing it for a long time. And he's like, we just can't do this. And so people are like, the girls all think I'm crazy. I'm like, it's because you are, but it's going to work for you, right? And so I remember I talked to him, like, it was a quarterly goal. We came up. I'm like, how'd it go? He's like, 27.4%. Damn. He's like, we had to 27. He's like, I'm like, well, what happened? He's like, I noticed that people started having more conversations that were just in line with what it would take to experience a 25% increase. And I think I'm answering your question, but I know I'm like telling stories as well because it's the sizzle that sells the steak. But ultimately, like this is the tactic: is come up with some visual reminder for whatever goal it is, right? And put that thing everywhere,
Immersion.
right? You work it into your daily routine. If like when I had a sales goal, when I was out traveling a ton, I would do like some yoga in my hotel room the morning of, and I would. If I had a $30,000 sales goal for the week, I would hold my poses for 30 seconds, or I would do 30 breaths, or I would go do a 30-minute workout down in the gym, in the hotel, like 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, just programming this thing, and just immersing this $30,000 sales goal into my brain. So whatever it is you want to just work it in, you know, if it's repetitions, if it's part of your workout, if it's part of your daily routine, if it's doing things X number of times, if it's, changing your password on your email or whatever to, exotic traveler 2027, whatever you want to do.
Brilliant hacks. I like the change your password thing too. That makes sense.
Now you have to turn off auto save on the password. Like there's
no, you have to enter it every time. Absolutely.
Exactly. Every single. Oh my God, I love like when I talk to when I talk to like young professionals all the time. Somebody always comes up to me. It's crazy how many times people are like, I did this. I put like new home 2022, new home 2020. Like, and they're like, we had a 5-year plan to buy a house, and 2.5 years later we bought a house. Like, I wish I lacked the integrity that it took to make up these stories. Like it comes. Oh, I can't tell you how many times people are like, that one works all the time.
Yep. So are you a fan of affirmations, of writing the goal down?
Mm-hmm.
And is it specificity? Is it simplicity? What's the trick to making that work?
So there's 4.5-5 tricks, right? One is, so how you structure the goal. I'm gonna go beyond your question if that's okay.
No, please.
I know, rhetorical question. So here we go. There's like when you're structuring your goals, there's 5 big characteristics that we have found to be like brain friendly. Like when your goals when your goals have these 5 characteristics, it's not nothing's guaranteed, but the path you're putting yourself on is just going to get you there faster. Number 1, it's meaningful to you. Okay. Said another way, like when you structure that goal, how does the achievement of that goal make you a better human being than you were before you set out to achieve it?
Yep. It's got to have an emotional connection.
Yes. Who are you on the other side of this thing? Are you a better dad? Are you a better parent? Are you a better spouse? Are you a better clinician? How are you a better human being? It has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with the trip. It has nothing to do with how are you a better, more accomplished human being? That's number 1. Number 2, is it the right size, right? Is it big enough that it scares you and excites you? Is it big enough that you don't be like, I don't need to worry about that, right? Does it make you a little uncomfortable? And then also like the amount of time you have to complete it, right? That's got to be the right size. Specificity, specific, measurable, may or may not have a due date. Those are big characteristics. Like specificity and time frame are the two areas I see people blow it for themselves with regards to goals. Because we go back to the conversation from a couple minutes ago. Your subconscious mind is looking for a clear picture for what you want and why it's most important to you. When it has that clear picture, it will make you move towards that picture. It'll make you take action almost unconsciously, unless you're not clear on it. So when you have a goal of, I want to lose weight, your brain goes, cool, and does nothing. When you're like, I want to weigh 175 pounds by November 1st, your brain goes, 175 pounds. Let me put you on a path to make that happen. Yep. So,
but if you say 175 pounds in 3 months, your brain says 3 months is always 3 months from now. 3 months is all. That's why the November 1st portion of that is key.
The specificity again. Yes, you're absolutely picking up what you're putting down here, buddy. That which can be measured can be improved, and most goals have some type of quantifiable aspect. And then, the may or may not have a due date. We'll save that for another pint.
Yeah.
What's that?
You and I will go round and round on the due date one.
I know. There's not enough old styles in Chicago to hydrate us on that one.
All right. So we got specificity.
Okay. So let's talk about the writing it down thing. And I don't make guarantees, but I'm willing to bet that a large percentage of people people listening to this right now, if we were sitting face to face and I said, hey, have you ever heard it's a good idea to write down your goals? 90+% of people, they'd be like, yes, I've heard that. Everybody says that. Here's why. You have this part of your brain called the reticular activating system. And I know you know about this thing because you and I have had pints over this.
Yep.
In Bellevue. But anyway, this is the babies and cars thing, right? This is that you make a decision to buy a car and you see that thing everywhere. Yep. Like the thing is, they were always there. You had just never been aware of it. You had nothing in your brain had flipped the switch to help you focus on and see it. The only physical thing you can do, to actually flip the switch and activate this reticular activating system is physically handwriting, I want to weigh 175 pounds by November 1st. Yep. Right? That's the thing that makes your brain go, okay, you want that? Let's go make it happen, baby.
And there is research around the fact that it's the tactile. It's not the typing. Mm-hmm. It's the tactile writing component of that that flips that switch.
Totally. Yep. I know you and I talked about this. So yeah, that's exactly. So that's this is a long, so many worded answer to, do you believe in writing down affirmations and goals? Yes, that's why. And then the last thing is it's reviewed and re-viewed. And the re-viewed is having that visual reminder. And then the reviewed thing is just making sure that you're regularly checking in on the progress of the goal. It makes no sense to set a goal on Jan 1 and then do your thing for like 363 days. And on December 34, or 30th, 31, be like, so how'd we do?
Especially on December 34th. That would be a tough time to take a look at.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So anyway, so when you're going about how you build and structure the goals, like that's kind of like I don't want to say the secret sauce, but like you want to set yourself up for success, build your goals in a way that your brain goes, oh man, I'm not going to give you a choice but to achieve this thing. And then do the immersion and then check in on it and then have an accountability partner. Dude, call me up, drop me a text or an email. Hey, Rob, I really want to do this. Cool. I am so good at chasing people down for accountability. That's why I have many friends that I do and many friends that I don't have anymore.
Yeah. So I wanna move to another subject, but I want to remind everyone listening that this isn't just talking about it. You've been studying this for a long time. I mean, this is again grounded in neurobiologically how our brains actually work, the process with which they function. And I guess it would be even 10 years ago, the parlance would be it's a hack, but it's not a hack. This is how the brains work, period, end of story.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. There was not an open-ended question there. Terrible interview.
Watch this. When we met 10 years ago, we were having lots of conversations around brain hacking and biohacking. That was like that was the hot topic at the time, right? And I'll be the first to admit, and I use the term brain hacking a lot back in the day because people are like, oh, tell me more, right? And I think that we just like right, wrong, or indifferent opinions and like opinions have changed and like positions have changed. I don't know. Like it's not the hot button. It's still relevant. It's still important. I think people are always looking for a cheat code. You know, it's the American dream. How do I make the most amount of money doing the least amount of work possible? Come on. Right? It's not rocket science. But I also think that we are smarter. Well, in some cases, we're less smart, but that's a whole other pint and a half conversation. But I think the people who are asking themselves the right questions, I think the people who surround themselves with the right people that help us all grow, right? All ships rise at the tide, but you got to be in the water first, right? Like we put ourselves, this is why, like shameless, like brown nosing. This is why I love you guys. This is why I love Seattle Study Club. It's literally an organization designed around putting people in the right rooms with other people. Like
with other people. Absolutely. That's it.
With other like-minded people.
And you've been with us a long time, so I know you've seen that. But you work in a lot of other industries as well. So what can the clinicians, the team members listening to this, what are some things you've learned from other industries that maybe we're not recognizing or we could bring into dentistry to, again, just move forward in whatever direction that is we've decided?
Yeah. We all are and deal with functional human beings every day. What that means is we spent time talking about our brain's unhelpful default settings. We talked about how we have a tendency or a bias towards negativity, urgency, and complacency, right? Well, that means that every single person, not only us, but every single person that walks into our practice has negativity, urgency, and complacency front and center right there, right? And so, which to me, there's your cheat code.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a big one because, look, again, we've talked about this a lot. I teach around this as well. I don't often think about that from a customer, from a relationship standpoint, from the person I'm dealing with in the moment. That's pretty powerful.
But super like insultingly super simplistic sometimes, right? That's what I tell people. Like, you understand that you sell to human beings, right? You interact. Like we're not vets. Like we're not working with dogs and cats and crocodiles, right? Like we're working with human teeth for the most. I think so. I think that's still the case, right? I don't know if we're branching. I know there's been some change in the Seattle Athletic Club world. I don't think we've branched into that area, right? Like when I'm working with financial services people, professionals, I'm like, you sell to human beings still, right? They're like, yeah. And like, people are so difficult. I'm like, no, they're you. Like, you got a problem with that person? Look in the mirror. That's where the problem starts. So it's just like, it's tough love, but sometimes, so we're all dealing with the same stuff. But your ability to kind of like meet, regardless of what you do, I think I'm answering your question. I might not. If I'm not, oh well, this is going to be good anyway. When you can meet people where they're at, that allows you to have a better, more productive, more professional, based conversation, right? If you got, I tell people all the time, like my insurance people, I love them, and like they're like, they think they're superheroes. Like, I'm gonna save your life. I'm not gonna wear a cape, but I'm gonna fix your financial future. They throw every F word they can into this thing. I'm like, financial freedom, future, fix it. I'm like, dude, this person's been on welfare. Like, you're not going to sell them life. Like, you got to meet them where they're at, help them understand what their needs are, what challenges they have, what challenges they don't even think they have because they can't see past it. Like, how do you help them focus on that bigger circle thing to pull them through the challenges that they're stuck at? Like, when you can put them in that position, when you can empower them to make decisions that get them on the path towards ultimately whatever that vision is that they want for their life, like, oh my God, that's when you're a superhero.
Here's what I want to close with, and that I'm going to make a statement. You can close with whatever the heck you want, because I know you can't not talk.
I never met a microphone that wouldn't listen. Come on now.
What I do want people to know is that you do individual coaching. You do speak to study clubs. I know there are a number of clubs that have had you out, but there are a lot that haven't. and there is high value, I believe, in what you bring to the table, whether it's as a coach or as a speaker. And I want to encourage those listening just to reach out, explore opportunities, possibilities. Rob will squeeze you in if you make the phone call, if you reach out.
Yeah. Thank you. I
Did I
duly
just make
concur.
you speechless?
No. Sophisticated. No, yeah, no, I agree. If you're looking, listen, if you run a club, if here's the two people I'll talk about. If you are a human being who has experienced some version of what you believe to be success, and for whatever reason you have either plateaued or maybe even regressed, that is a perfect time to call somebody like me. It doesn't need to be me, but that's a perfect time. You are on a personal journey that has you in a new normal, and you will likely benefit from getting some help to break through to that next level.
Brilliant. Rob, thank you for spending a few minutes with us. I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks for a great excuse to have a beer.
Yeah, perfect.